Yeah, start from the beginning to like exactly what he was doing. Yeah, like explaining all of the
Oh yeah,
personalities.
go
Yeah,
on.
so go on.
So
The first one.
with my different personalities, you've got Kerry, who is mum, and she's 34, which is me. And she's very more like classy, stable, working environment, can manage all that. Very good at, mental health, speaking. I could go into a conference meeting and, ace it.
Conservative.
Yeah, very conservative, that's the word I'm looking for, cheers. So, and then you've got Roxy, who's like early 20s. Very like social, outgoing, bubble, the vibration of the everything, energy, and she loves dancing. But what comes with her can be toxic, because then drink comes with that, impulsiveness comes with that, promiscuous stuff comes with that, and
rebellious.
very rebellious. So I had to find really a safe way of her being able to come out, which I'll get to in a minute. Then you've got the baby, who is basically an abused child. So that's around 7 years old, 8 years old. So obviously that's when I got abused. So they are very suicidal, very much what you would understand if you had to care for a child that's just been through abuse.
Yeah.
So if traumatic, loads of triggers, you can't touch me, you can't speak to me in a certain way because I'm going to think that you're going to try and hurt me. You don't get what I'm saying? Like, 100%
very cautious how you...
Very cautious, and then they need to be cared for because they want to commit suicide all the time. But since, like I said, since 2016 when that happened, luckily them suicidal attempts have gone now. So even though when they come out now they might be upset about something, but it's only about the present now. So they're only upset about stuff that's happened in the present, not the past no more. So they have healed, I guess, from the trauma of the abuse, because to them they killed it off. So which is great, because that's been able to keep me stable. Now when that personality comes out, I'm still be able to be stable. I just might cry, and then I'll bring myself back round to Kerry or Roxy, and then they're like a mother to the baby.
They will.
And they care for her and talk to her and then calm her down, and then Kerry or Roxy comes back. But they are Roxy is like the protector. So Kerry is the stable mum, the mum figure. Roxy is the protector. The baby is the struggles. And then I've got another one who it is a male kind of persona. We've not, through therapy, we didn't determine if it was a male because they didn't want to speak no more. They had to stop the therapy because it could be triggering. But we think it might be a male persona, and that one is very violent.
I was going to say,
that is
because with those type of personalities, you do get an aggressive one.
You do get the aggressive. So Roxy's fiery, but this one with no name, it's more dominant. Dominant, like a male kind of persona.
Quick question. Quick question. Yeah, you see, you said one of them hasn't got a name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
They didn't want to carry on the therapy. They didn't want to talk to the therapist.
Okay.
So we didn't get. So basically, sometimes when you're doing therapy, you can feel safe enough to speak, but they wanted to stop, and it was triggering the baby off too much. So basically, they wanted to talk about a situation, which was Christmas. So every Christmas, so coming up to now, it's triggering for me. I don't know why. What they determine from it is maybe the abuse started at Christmas.
I was just in my head I was thinking, has it got anything to do with, like, say, obviously not to bring it back, but like say in the mum persona that you have now, when you actually look at it, do you think it's got to do with obviously you being a mum and then looking at the abuse side of when obviously that the abuse happened, and then obviously you've got kids, and then obviously that family time, and then like the male person who is the violent one, who, because it is a violent thing that happened, very violent, and that could go into number one. So as mum, would you look at that and think that
I think it's to do with that. I get what you're saying. So when people say they got abused, they always think it's violent, and I'll touch on that in a minute, but back to that, I'll touch on that in a minute, because that's very important, because people don't always have it like that. So what it is is, you're right, because I'm a mum and it's Christmas time, I get overprotective because I'm scared. But it's also because my birthday's around Christmas as well. My birthday's Boxing Day. So I didn't have that family unit and that family home that was nice. My siblings, I love them to bits, and they're always there for me in their own little ways, because they just deal with me how they deal with me. And I've triggered my family in the past, and I've upset them a lot, and now I try and retract myself and try not to do that as best I can. But they also understand me and all of my personalities, and they know I don't mean it in any bad way. But I think what it is my abuse must have started at Christmas. But because I don't have that memory, and because the therapist couldn't tap into it, because I got then angry at the male personality come forward. So it's suppressed, and it's suppressed. They said it's suppressed for a reason that can't be opened, like that door can't be opened. If it opens, it might be too risky. So I can talk about it now. I'm okay to talk about things now. But in the therapy kind of situation, I can't open that door, and I never will be able to, because something's happened and it's not going to be good for me to know, basically. So them other personalities are trying to protect me from knowing that as mum. As mum, so they're protecting mum. They're protecting mum from knowing whatever's happened, or how something happened.
A quick one,
yeah.
Can I ask a quick one, Obviously, a lot of people say, usually, like, for all of us, innit, a lot of things that we go through stem from either our childhood or this and that, like, from very, early stages within our life, Like, could we touch on a little bit about, obviously, like, a little bit, like, on your childhood, your family background, just how was it, like, in your family, household, growing up with your family? How was your mum like, your dad like? Can we touch on just a little bit on that?
From my childhood, my mum wasn't an emotional, supportive mum. She had her own mental health, which we didn't know then what.
Of course.
We still don't know fully what it is now, because it keeps changing. She's unstable still. But, it's not, I have to take the blame off her, because, she had her own path.
Of course.
That as a child I wasn't aware of. As an adult now, being through what I've been through, that could have been me. How mine and Marie's, she's gonna call Marie. Mine and her relationship is never going to be, because she can't take accountability. Mine and my kids' relationships can always be, because I took responsibility. I corrected my triggers and my behaviours that was impacting on my children, to make sure then that I builded them bonds and made sure I was there. I was never a bad mother, and I'm still not. I just was struggling with my mental health. My mother was a bad mother, and I'll say that clearly, and I don't care about other people's opinion, because people say, oh, they weren't a bad mother, they were just going through their path, they were struggling. No, because I begged that woman to not let me go to this place where she was taking me, which was my abuser's home. I was a teenager. I tried to hang myself. I wrote a letter telling her that I was being abused by this person who has been, and I'll say it was a brother. So it's been to court, I'm not bothered. So I wrote a letter and tried to hang myself as a teenager. I used to sit out a window and think about jumping out to kill myself. She knew all this, and that letter disappeared. She never mentioned, she never hugged me. If I burst into my child's room as a teenager and they've wrote me a letter and they're hanging with a rope to the ceiling, I'm gonna hug my child, and I'm gonna go mad, and I'm gonna protect that child. She cleaned it all up and never mentioned it ever again, and walked out, and I still had to go back to that house. So that, to me, she was a bad mum, because she carried on putting me in that situation. Then something come out in the family, which I can say a little bit. Some situation happened with another family member where it came out about this abuse that was happening to them. It weren't just me that it happened to.
Was this when it came out, was this the same brother?
Same person, yeah.
The same person doing it?
So, yeah, but I'm not going to say who.
No, of course not.
So, then my mother come up, and this hurt that person who was being abused, because they said to me, has anything happened to you? And I said, and I just looked at him, and I was scared, because of the reaction that I seen, the person who was being abused, my mother reacted in anger towards them, not in safety. So I seen that reaction, and then they come and ask me, was it happening to me? So I'm not going to say nothing. You've just been angry with that person. How do I feel safe to tell you? So I said no, and they went, and this hurts, because I know it hurts this person. They said, I'm glad it's not happened to you because I'm glad I would have been more mad if it happened to you. Rah, that hurt because that person who it's happening to, I love them. You're meant to love them the same. Why are you not bothered? So that person who has been abused, that hurt them a lot. And then they went off the rails in their life then. I went more off the rails then. They hit my mother in the end and then moved out. You know, with me, I carried on going off the rails, then I turned to drugs. I turned to alcohol. So there's a thing that happens like, my dad was alcoholic.
I was gonna ask, like, during all of these things that are going on,
where was my dad?
Where was Pops?
So my dad, it's a hard one for him because even though he struggles with himself, he's took accountability. So I have to have that love for him. But he struggled because my mother was the way she was, very toxic. She pushed him out, and that's why I never agree with any fathers or mothers, parents, just say parents, when they purposely push someone out who's not doing bad. My dad didn't do bad. He just didn't do what she wanted.
Okay.
Right?
There's a big difference.
There's a difference. I've put
situation.
So I've put boundaries because I've got children. I've had to put certain boundaries with, you know, certain parents who I've got children to, because there's some bad there. But I put boundaries to a certain point, not completely get out of the life. Do you know, because I can't do that. That's not my choice. That's my child's choice. And I can't take them away from that other person. I can just change contact into a way that's suitable, that's safe. And that child's got to grow up and decide for themselves. Professionals say they need to be out completely. I'm sorry, but you can't decide that. All we can do is put the boundaries in place so it's safe for contact, right? So my mum didn't do that with my dad. So my dad chose to stay away and drink more. And, you know, he said to me, because he didn't have me, he carried on drinking. Because he was hurting. He was just working. He's one of them people, he'll walk for miles. I take after my dad in a way because I look like him, and you know, he walks for miles to clear his head, and then he'll just turn up and pop up out of the blue like a jack-in-a-box. Like, he used to just turn up at the door at Christmas, and he'll turn up drunk and the show go mad. But I was like, yeah, he's here, you know. And that's probably another thing about Christmas. My dad used to turn up at Christmas. So Christmas is triggering because my dad always used to turn up at Christmas, but he turned up drunk, so I couldn't see him. So it's like I wanted to see him, but I couldn't. And in the end, one day I said to him, I said, fuck off, just go away, leave me alone. That's when I was about 8, because he didn't know what was happening to me. But because he kept turning up drunk, she kept telling him to go. So it was easier for him to never turn up. Because you're hurting me, because you're turning up and then you've got to go and I can't come with you. So just stop turning up because you're hurting me. So that's why I snapped at him, and then he stayed away then until I was a teenager, and then he turned up one day. I was at my auntie's, so I was like 13, and I was at my auntie's and I didn't know, and they knew that he was coming down, so he walked all the way from Markham before my 13th birthday, just for my 13th birthday. They said he planned it, get her there. So my cousin JJ, like, he got me there at my auntie's, and next minute he walked through the door and I just broke, and I was like, wow, like, he's touched me now, like, so. Like, I hadn't seen him, and now he's older, he's looking like an old man, and I'm like, wow, like, he's like, oh, you didn't think I was going to miss your 13th birthday, did you? Because now you can decide for yourself. And I moved in with him. So I left my family home, which was not good, and I moved in with him. And it was good for a while. It was good, and, you know, but the drink had hold of him, which is, now he's corrected a lot more better, but we still struggle because, for me, you've got to remember, I'm still that abandoned child that he left as well. So for me, when he's picking up a can, I'm like, why are you still doing it? You've got me now. You've got my kids in your life now as granddad. So why do you keep struggling? And I think, but now I do know why. But I struggle emotionally to accept why. And not bring emotions, because he's my dad. And it's triggering with me. With other people, I can accept it and be there for them as friends and stuff like that. But with my own dad, I really do struggle. So sometimes I reach out to him and sometimes I don't. And after I leave here today, I've got to go and find him. And I've got to hunt him down and find him and reach out again and try and see if he's going to listen to the fact that he needs to help himself so I can be in his life and my children can be in his life. Because now he's a great granddad now and he's not even met that child. So
is it great granddad?
Yeah, so I'm a nana. Yeah, I'm a nana now. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, sexy nana.
Sexy nana.
So
I never think it.
yeah.
Oh my
So-
God. Hey.
Her son, son is doing his thing.
Yeah.
Big up your son.
My
Come on,
son,
man. Big
my
up
son
your
is a
son.
man though. My son is
Yeah.
a man.
Oh no, big
He's
him
a
up,
man.
Big him up. Big
He's-
him up.
Even like on a quick one, yeah. How is it going, man? Like, obviously big up your son and his girlfriend. You get me, with their baby as
man.
well.
Big them
Like
up,
for you,
man.
how is it
Big
going?
them
Like, like
Do you
being
know
how do you like to be addressed? Like grandma or nana? I'm just asking for the people.
Nana.
Nan.
Nana, yeah.
Nana.
Yeah. Like how is
You
it going?
knew by that
No,
look.
obviously I just
Do
asking
you know
for the
what's
people.
funny
innit?
though? This guy knows not to say grandma because he said it on the phone. He knows. So yeah, Nana.
I can gather word.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
yeah.
How you? But even in general, obviously, like how you finding it? Because obviously we had like a lot of conversations
do you know
when
what?
before obviously the baby got here. Like,
Yeah.
how is it going for you? And obviously,
How old's the
Yeah.
baby, by the way? So,
7 months.
The young one. 7
7
months.
7
7
months is
months,
the
literally.
Okay.
yeah
So
7
that's your
months.
first
First grandchild, yeah.
Congratulations.
so yeah, how is it going for you? Come on.
So she's so cute. I was panicking before she was born because I struggled with my emotions because of BPD. I didn't know how to feel as a nana, as in how am I gonna love this? How's this gonna feel? Because I'm not carrying. I am so. When I become a mum, that feeling of bringing a baby into the world, I didn't have love in my life. So when I had that as a mum, it's so overwhelming and so caring. Like, I love that. So hence why I carried on having babies, right? So I carried on having babies, which I love all my children to bits, because they are my blessings that save me. If I didn't have them, I don't know where I'll be. Probably not even here. So as a nana and watching somebody else bring a child that I love into the world, but they're not my
You're
child.
not carrying them, yeah.
And I'm not, and I'm watching from a bird's eye view type of thing. I'm like, I love them, and then I started loving the mother as one of my own more, because I already did care for her, but now I love.
It's
A
like
double love.
Yeah,
because then the love started. She didn't even know all this.
And
but-
plus, obviously, like what you're saying, and obviously, like what you're saying as well, like this is the first time it's like you're used to carrying the babies, you get me? But now it's like she carried your grandchild, so obviously the love that you're gonna develop for her, it's like it's
it
normal
came
enough to say,
two
but she
though.
carried your
Yeah, but it
grandchild.
came double. So for
Yeah.
the grandchild
Yeah.
and the mother.
And absolutely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
There's
the
a double
grandchild gave her an extra bond to the mother.
To the
Yeah.
mother, yeah.
So I have now another. I
Go
have,
over that full circle. It's a beautiful,
Like
like,
she
it's
said,
a
she already
beautiful.
had love for the
Yeah.
mother anyway.
Yeah.
So I
through
said,
her
this
son,
is a double love
but
now.
it intensified, didn't it?
Yeah.
It heightened, didn't it?
it's like another child that I
Yeah.
took underneath my wing. I didn't birth her or my grandchild, but now I've got.
Trust me,
them.
it makes absolute sense.
Yeah,
Trust
so-
me, man.
Then when she was born, I didn't cry. I didn't get emotional. I was so numb.
Interesting.
I held her and I was taking it all in, and I was like, oh, she's beautiful. And it took me a week, and one day I just sat there and I just started crying, and I was like, I don't even know. And I was holding her in my house, and then all of a sudden I just started crying. I was like, why am I crying? Why am I crying? Why am I crying? Because my emotions just all come to me. And sometimes it takes a bit for my emotions to catch up.
Of course.
So that's what happened. So after a week of her being born, I was holding her, and she fell asleep in me. That was it. The first time she fell asleep in my arms. And then I cried, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm crying, but I'm crying. And then I said, I've just only accepted that she's here, and the emotions that come. And I said, it's so overwhelming. But yeah, I couldn't do it again though. I couldn't do it again. My grandchild, I love it. They live with me at the minute now. So at first they live with, my son's partner's family, because she wanted to be around a mum and have that bond with a mum at first, which is important for a woman. And then now they live at mine. They're getting to the point where they're going to get their own place. So I said I'll financially, help, whatever it is, and they want to do their thing financially themselves, which I respect that. So I said, okay, well, we'll figure it out. I'll support you in this way so you can save and do that way. Yeah. Because they want my son's a man. He wants to do it himself and provide himself, which
And that's really
I brought
good.
him up like that.
Really
As people say, so there's someone who says this, and I always disagree. They hate the fact that I disagree, and it is. They hate the fact that I disagree, but I'll disagree. If I don't think your point's right, I'll disagree, but I'll tell you why. So they say that a woman can't bring a kid up to be a man, a son up to be a man. I don't agree with that, because the way I am, and it might be because I've got the male personality, so I can be feminine, but I can be masculine, so I'm a bit of both. So I've been able to adapt my way of bringing my kids up to my kids' needs and what they need in life, and educate myself of what a young male needs. But I understand that maybe because I was more emotional, my eldest son has brought on that emotional side in his masculine way. But I don't think that's a bad thing, because the way I see him with his partner, he supports her emotionally and masculine. So to me, I don't think all men have to be just masculine. I feel like it's good to have both, and I feel like it's good for women to have both. I don't feel like women need to just be feminine and men need to just be masculine. I don't agree with that, because you know what life you go through, it's good to have both balances, because you never know what situation you're going to be in. Yeah, it's good sometimes in a relationship of the balance of a man and a woman for one to be more masculine and one to be more feminine, but to get that you have to have trust in that person. So I think I've done a good job as a mum bringing up boys alone, because I look at my son, he's a man, he's got a missus, he's got a job, he's protecting, he's providing, he wants to do more, and he's doing a good job, and I can't doubt him, and he's emotionally supportive for his missus, to the point where if she's struggling, he's hurting. And that's good, because that I know he's in tune with his emotions, and he's never going to hurt her then, and he's always going to be there. So yeah, so for me, looking outwards, I know it's like a blessing. I'm seeing, I've got my wish. I always wanted the chain of abuse to stop. So I always wanted my children to stay together if they had children, you know, and I can't predict any future, but what I'm seeing now, I feel like that's been done. My son's done that. He's had a child with one woman, and you know, he's going further. And I can't see, but it's nice to see what I didn't have for my grandchild. It's nice to see what I can give my kids. But I'm glad he's done it like that.
I want to quickly go back here to, in case, obviously, people are going to be watching this,
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that I wrote down that you said, psychosis,
Yeah.
Like, what is the meaning of psychosis?
I'm gonna have a drink first.
I'll go and have a drink. Take a second.
So psychosis. So for me, it's you can hear, you can see things. So I'll say one incident that happened. So when I was in hospital, I used this soap. Sounds mad. I was using this soap. I never used it before. I had an allergic reaction to it because I've got sensitive skin and that.
What type of soap?
Well, I don't know what it's fucking called. So it's do you know what? I'll send you that later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I use this soap that I've never used before, and it's that one that says leather something on it. So what leather?
Oh, leather cushion.
Leather cushion.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
What, by leather cushions?
The old school one.
Yeah.
By leather
With the
cushions?
red little,
Yeah, that's the one.
It's got the red little label on
Yeah.
top.
So that one I use
Maybe,
that.
maybe what it is, if I see the picture, I'll be like, okay, cool. You know,
It's
sometimes
old
you
school.
don't know
We used
the
to
name,
use
but
it.
if you,
Yeah.
if you
So I used that and had an allergic reaction to it, and it was on
Yeah.
my face. So obviously my head's already twisted at the minute because I'm in hospital, and my face come out, and then I started thinking that they're doing something to me, like they've done it on purpose, and I'm like, so then I'm seeing in the mirror at that time things crawling in my skin. So at first it was just a red, it was just a red mark. It was just, you know, like a hives, like a bit bubbly.
Yeah.
It was just a red mark and hives because they took. I've seen the picture of what it was. In my mind, what I'm seeing is bubbling underneath the skin, things crawling underneath my skin.
It's a proper horror movie, isn't it?
Yeah, like that's how it is.
was this actually happening, or you was hallucinating?
Hallucinate, like that's what it's like. So they showed me a picture of what actually was going on, because they had to take the evidence because of why I had the episode.
Yeah, that's actually.
So, but what I was seeing was totally different. So this is how it can be. It can be that you see, hear, you know, feel things that are not actually present, but to you they're that real that you will react to them, and that's happened in loads of situations. There's also parts where, so the mental health will say that it's psychosis or it's what's the word? Tricks. The delusional. I can't think of the bloody word.
Do
you know what I mean? When you're seeing things that are not there. Hallucinating and that. Yeah. So. With my personality, sometimes my words go and I can't speak it. So with that's what they put it down to. Where I'll say it's not. So when my head goes, I see things that are not normally here. So at one point I've seen like, I'd say as what hell looks like and what heaven looks like, and I'll see things that are on this earth that are not normally here. I see I'm connected to spiritual. So I believe in